All right. Hey there. Welcome. Okay, so this is our very first video in the Getting Started series that we're going to do. And this is our Welcome to MJ Coaching video. So here I'm going to go over how I help women build strength, confidence, and healthy habits when it comes to fitness, nutrition, and mindset. So this is the first video you'll start with. So let's dive right into it. Okay, so just to get started, I want to do a quick welcome and introduce myself. My name's Coach Meg, and I'm really excited that you're here checking out this video. And so whether you're just coming back to fitness, just getting your fitness journey started, looking for a place where you can find kind of a realistic and, you know, real life approach to fitness and nutrition, then you're in the right place. So a lot of my stuff I don't edit. It's very raw and real and, coming straight from me, and it's like I would be talking to you in a consultation, right? That's the kind of vibe that I want you to get from this, is that this channel is really created to help women become stronger, healthier, and more confident by applying simple, sustainable habit change that fits their real life. So we're taking the idea of cookie cutter and throwing that out the window. We're taking the idea of, simple things that are generically applied to everyone as a whole and taking bits and pieces to make this unique to you. Because everybody's life, schedule, work demands, chores, life, if you've got kids, if you've got pets, if you've got, you live in the city or you live in the country. I mean, everything is so different that this is really an approach where you can take what you need from it, apply it to your life, and find a realistic approach that will fit, that you can do long term so that you can see those results. Okay, so why MJ Strong? So a lot of the time, women come to me feeling very overwhelmed. They come thinking that they need to have these perfect systems, workout routines, nutrition, and a lot of the times they find themselves in this cycle of starting over all the time, where they can't just kind of string together consistency, that it's just kind of like they go good for a little bit, and then they get back into that start over loop, and they can't really get out of the start, stop, and start all over cycle, and they're just lost in there, right? So they're kind of like this chick in this picture. They're just spiraling, and they're just kind of holding it together with string cheese and an iced coffee and like delusion, right? So we're hoping that we can get some optimism there, but we take it week by week. And so MJ Strong I created because my coaching philosophy really is that if we take the stress of trying to have the perfect plan or the perfect systems or the perfect meal prep or the perfect workout, and we focus more on being just consistent, then we will eventually get to the goal that we're looking at. So if you look at this ladder in the picture here, this is like the perfect example of what I'm trying to say. That instead of trying to build this perfect ladder that is very beautiful looking from the outside, we're just going to simply put boards on the ladder and get it done. Whereas this might take 6 years to create, this took a couple minutes to get started on, right? So we're working on creating small habits. Sometimes the action is kind of ugly per se, but it beats the trying to chase the route of perfection. And how we do this is by implementing small habits. They're not extreme overnights, overhaul your life that, now I'm going to be a vegan and I'm never going to eat meat again, or like these huge crazy changes, or I'm going to be a carnivore, or or I'm going to run a marathon when I've never even ran a mile, those kinds of things. Like, we're taking that all or nothing extreme out of the equation, and we're focusing it on a very small window of things that we can do daily that fit into our real life and where we're at right now, not our future fantasy self, right? So we're always focusing on those small habits, and we're always focusing on finding progression, even if it seems very small. My job as a coach is to point that out and show you where you are progressing, because a lot of the times, when we're looking at ourselves and we're living our lives day to day, we don't see the little tiny things, whereas a third party person that's, zoomed further out is looking at what you're doing and can really help you find that progress. So we're really looking at progress that we can make with small habits that compound, in the long term and have a lot of interest bearing action for us. But we're trying to work on removing that all or nothing mentality, which can be difficult, but with a lot of, consistent work, listening to coaching, and kind of following the philosophy that I've put here together with this program, you can really start to see some changes happen. Now, what you'll find here, so what the heck is going on here in this MJ Strong situation, right? So what you'll find here is a lot of my coaching is going to talk about being consistent. That's why I call it consistency coaching, because what we're about is you want to achieve X result, right? Whether that's muscle, whether that's weight loss, whatever it is. What we want is to get there, but we're going to need a system. So whether we're including strength training, nutrition, mindset, walking, healthy habits, real life fitness, that's what all you'll find here in this consistency-based coaching. There is everything that you'll find here on YouTube that is free content that you're welcome to use, share, and revisit over and over and over. If you're looking for more accountability, then you're going to reach out and talk to me about consistency coaching. Consistency coaching is going to have weekly accountability check-ins, personalized feedback, encouragement, monthly goal setting, direct email from me. So we're communicating weekly, helping you stay consistent, motivated, and confident. So who would look at consistency coaching is somebody who's like, hey, I'm really stuck on this all or nothing, or I have a really hard time stringing together any sort of routine, or you just need a little bit more help. Maybe you're a new person to fitness and you're not quite sure where to start. Hopefully you can go through the playlist and it'll help you get started. But if you're somebody who knows like, hey, I always perform better when I know somebody that I have to be accountable to is going to be looking at what I'm doing each week, then that might be you. So what you'll find here when it comes to the YouTube content is strength training, nutrition education, mindset coaching, walking challenges, healthy habits, and then real life fitness. So real life fitness is, hey, I've got 5-10 minutes to do like maybe a core workout or something, and that's it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take like the real life situation where you don't have 2 hours to go to the gym and, be like an influencer and videotape yourself and spend 2 hours. And, if that's not real life for you, then that's completely understandable. So this kind of rolls into who this channel is for women who are looking to get stronger, because I really believe in building muscle. Part of my bodybuilding background back in the day when I first got into fitness and I really got into women's figure back in like 2011, which doesn't seem that long, but when I do the math, it's pretty long. But I really believe in the power of building muscle and building a strong frame, building a strong foundation, utilizing strength training. How we can do that is in a lot of ways. You don't need to be a bodybuilder. But what I want you to get out of it is, one, more muscle on your frame, whatever that looks like for you and what you want it to be, and then more energy, sustainable results. So we're talking like you get the results that you want in a sustainable fashion, because that way you can keep them. We're not talking about dropping 30 pounds in 3 months and then rebounding and now you're right back where you were or even heavier, right? That's not sustainable. So it needs to happen in a sustainable manner, which a lot of the times means it happens slower, which we have to be okay with, right? This isn't, Candyland where you can get whatever you want. We got to have there's some, checks and balances here. So this is especially for people who are tired of starting over. If you're just sick of your own shit and you're like, I gotta stop this, start, stop, because essentially you're just if you remember from, Austin Powers when he's in that car and he's stuck in the alley and he's just going back and forth, he can't reverse or go forward because he's stuck sideways in a, small corridor. If you have that feeling, then you're like, okay, I can't do this anymore. It's just such a waste of my time, and I'm losing, motivation. I'm losing belief in myself. I'm losing confidence. If you're tired of that feeling and you're like, all I want to do is string this together and put together some workouts, nutrition, and see some results start to come together so I know that I can do this for myself, this is what this channel is for. So if you want support, if you want encouragement, if you want to feel like you're a part of a community that you know, ultimately cares about you seeing exactly what everybody else is here for. Like this picture here where we're hiking and we're headed up into the mountains and we're leaving behind the excuses of laundry, too tired, I've got work, I've got chores. You know, we all do, but we can still work to climb our own personal mountains in the way that we have to make it work for each of our lives. And that's what the support and the encouragement of this community will bring. So what makes this different? What makes MJ Strong different than any other workout program, Beachbody, iFit, Peloton? What makes it different, you know? Like, because there's so much out there that you could choose from. You could go to a local gym, you could go to Pilates, you could go to yoga, you could go swim, you could go walk. You could do anything. There's podcasts, there's videos, there's DVDs, if you still have a DVD player. Well, let me tell you the things that makes this different. Is that number one, I do not recommend, I do not guarantee, I don't talk about quick fixes because there are none. Okay, guys, let's just be real. There's no quick fixes. If there was, everybody would be skinny, right? We don't talk about extreme diets because I don't believe in them. We don't talk about perfection, and we don't talk about detoxes. So those are just things that, you know, is the fluff and the poof and the poof. And that's not what this is about. What we are going to talk about are sustainable habits, because we know that what you're doing and what you've done is who you are today because of the habits that you've created, right? And where you want to go and what you want to achieve and what you have next on your like to-do list for yourself can only be achieved by you lining up some habits that create that person, right? What this is this is a lot about strength, and that comes in the form of, you know, endurance, so cardio, muscular strength, strength training, strength of our minds, mindset, mentality. That's a big one. Without your, you know, in the gray, going along on this journey with you and keeping it strong up here, that's going to really hinder whether or not you make it or you don't, right? Confidence. This is about becoming the most confident person in yourself and believing in yourself and having self-belief that you can achieve these goals that you set for yourself. And then ultimately, like I said, you're going to hear this a lot, consistency. We are really going to focus on consistency. There's a lot of flash and this and that, and hey, do this new exercise, and hey, use this new rubber band on your glutes or whatever. You know, it's all crap. At the end of the day, all it is you've got to do the work, you've got to do it consistently, and you've got to do it for over an expanded period of time, over and over and over and over, and you will get there. And what makes a difference is that my promise to you is that you will always feel encouraged. I'll always tell you the truth, whether you like it or not. And I'll always remind you that you're more capable of more than you think, right? There's always more fuel in that tank. We just have to figure out how you can tap into it and utilize it so that you can get to where you want to go, achieve the goals you want to achieve. Now, again, why does this make it different? I would say from my own personal experience that from training is that I've went from all sorts of things. I like to dabble in everything and try everything because that's what keeps fitness fun, and that's what keeps you doing it long term, is to have interests, check out new stuff, you know, try new things, and not be afraid to be a newbie. Come from like a growth mindset, being a new person, trying new things, always being willing to learn. And I do that myself. So I started out in bodybuilding, and then I went into CrossFit. And then from CrossFit, I got into long distance running. And then from long distance running, I got into trail races and ultra trail racing. And then from there, that's where, and then also, and there was some boxing, getting into boxing and Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu, so getting into martial arts. And then now I just kind of do a little bit of everything. It's always, now I've taken all those years of all finding out all the stuff that I really like, what I find fun, what I take from this that I love, what I take from that I love, leaving the stuff I don't, and then creating kind of this hybrid animal that does a little bit of everything, but never is bored because I can cycle around through everything. And that's what I have created as my consistency map, is that I have sustainable things that I like to do. Very important, you gotta like it. If you don't like it, you're not gonna do it. And then it gives me strength, it gives me confidence, and I can consistently do it throughout the year because I don't have any parameters on saying, oh, you know, today all you wanna do is go run. Go run. And then tomorrow maybe I train legs. And then the next day maybe I hit the heavy bag. You know, it's never so restrictive that it takes the fun out of it. And that's what you have to find. You have to find the fun in it. And so how do you start this journey? So you watch this video and you're intrigued and you're like, I want to know some more. I want to see what's going on here. What you'll do next is go and watch the How to Be Successful video, and then you'll watch the Stop Starting Over video, and then the third one, Building Habits That Last. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you'll get all of the new stuff that comes out in terms of workouts, mindset coaching, nutrition coaching. The follow-along workouts are going to be in there as well, and our walking challenges. Again, all of this is free. Now, this is when you join the community, so make sure you subscribe. Then it's free, but I would appreciate that little like and subscribe on my YouTube. That way that I know you're here. And that pretty much wraps us up for this video. So my last little point there was, now if you want the consistency coaching where you're like, hey, I know I need help, I need someone to like be tapping me on the shoulder and saying, did you do your homework this week? You know, then you're going to email me here at mjstrongstart@gmail.com. I'll make sure that that's all in the link below so you have access to reaching out to me. Otherwise, you can follow along on YouTube. But if you want some personalized coaching, reach out to that. It costs $99 a month, and you'll get your consistency coaching and whatever else that we need to discuss. We will work on that together. Okay, that wraps up this one, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.